Hey y'all, hi. So, since moving to the new house, I haven't really been messing with my single eyeshadows. I've had a couple of palettes on top of my vanity. I've been using them, I've been testing new makeup, and my single eyeshadows, since I found a place to put them away, they've kind of just stayed there. And I think that they're a little disorganized. I think that there are probably some custom palettes I've made that have been languishing. I feel pretty confident that there are some shadows in the wrong places, and everything needs to be kind of taken out and then rearranged and put back in its proper place. That is what we are going to be doing in today's video. It should be pretty meditative and, colorful, a feast for the eyes and the ears, the kind of thing you might enjoy falling asleep to or just zoning out to. If this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Hannah. I really like makeup, but I try to make beauty content that doesn't encourage overspending. I really like playing with my single eyeshadows because it's a part of my makeup collection that I've had for a really long time. My single eyeshadows often help me remember that I don't need to buy new eyeshadow palettes all the time because it's such a well-curated and robust collection. And if this is your first time seeing it, I hope that you'll enjoy it. Now, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Okay, it looks like everything is in these 4 palettes. I'm not quite sure what the situation is. Okay, most of the square shades are in their places. It looks like most of the round shades are in their places too. This is the last custom eyeshadow palette that I built. One of my favorites, if not my absolute favorite of all time. And I got a lot of use out of this before I left LA. But I think it's time to break it apart and put all of these eyeshadows back where they belong. Some of them are from Natasha Denona palettes, so they'll have to go back into their palettes. A bunch of them are from a ColourPop palette, and they'll have to go back into that palette. And a bunch of them are my Lethal singles. And yeah, my Lethal palette is clearly missing half of its eyeshadows, so we'll put all of them back where they belong too. I'm going to start by dismantling this palette. I think before I put the Lethal shades back, I'm actually going to take these guys out and give this palette a quick clean. I don't know where the other Lethal shade is. It's not one of these. And it's not in here. It could be upstairs somewhere, or I could have just stuck it in a palette that doesn't have eyeshadows in it right now. Let me do a quick search. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it for this video because I feel like I've checked everything that's down here. And for the time being, I'm just going to have to move on. But hopefully this mystery will be solved at some point in the coming days. And if it is solved, I'll pin a comment about it. Okay, these shades are all from this ColourPop palette. I think I have them all here. I don't know for sure which ones go where. I know some of them, but I also don't really care. This is just where they live. But I use them mostly as singles, and I care more about what the color looks like and how it performs than I do what it's called by ColourPop in this palette. So I'm just going to do my best to put them away in places that work for me. I still really love this palette. This is ColourPop It's a Mood. I get excited every time I look at it. It's the kind of rainbow palette that really works for me because it has textures and it has grungy versions of all of the colors of the rainbow. Looking at it now kind of makes me want to shop my stash for it. Okay, let's deal with these. Already there's a problem, which is that these are from the little tiny Viseart palette that I didn't bring down here with me. And I'm actually going to go up and get it, and that'll give me a chance to look for the lethal shade and see if it's sitting around somewhere around my vanity. But first, I'm going to put the rest of these away. And you know what? I always take such pleasure in this kind of tiled floor of square eyeshadows, the way that they're all flush with each other because of the square shape. But since the last time that I did like an intentional organization of this palette, this bit of storage, the colors have gotten all mixed together. I kind of like having color families grouped, having there be some kind of cohesion and flow. And that's been disrupted because I've been taking shadows out to use them and then putting them back hastily. So I'm going to take a moment to actually reorganize this palette before I move on. Okay, there. I find this much more enticing, and I feel like it's going to inspire me to use these eyeshadows more, knowing that it now looks like this. For some reason, I'm not feeling inspired to do the same thing with this palette. I feel like these shadows are all pretty good looking the way that they are. Like, I kind of like the way that the colors are interacting in this format for now. So I'm just going to leave this. But I'm going to go get the Viseart palette that these belong to and see if I can find this missing eyeshadow. Okay, I found the little Viseart palette. It's the Petite Pro Une. Love it. But I couldn't find the missing lethal eyeshadow. I feel like I used it recently in a video, or did I just use these two? I used these two shadows recently in a video, I think. I'm actually not even entirely sure what the missing shade looks like. I think I actually don't really know which one is missing. Well, I was hoping that this would be all gratifying and stuff, but I feel like we've just ended up with a mystery, a missing eyeshadow. And how can a single eyeshadow be missing? I mean, it feels like it would be living somewhere in one of my magnetic palettes, but I feel like I've checked all of my magnetic palettes, so I feel like it's just sitting somewhere loose and lonely, and I wonder if I'll ever find it. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it there. I'm very pleased with this situation. Even though we have a shadow on the lamb, I'm also pleased that I got a chance to kind of clean this palette out. All the round shadows are back where they belong, and all of the ColourPop and Natasha Denona and Viseart shadows are back where they belong. And I feel ready to build another custom palette, and that's what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to do it in another video. So keep an eye out for an upcoming video in which I play with these eyeshadows, making some color combinations that I think will be exciting for me in the coming weeks. I hope that you enjoyed spending this time with me. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.